So I finally got to see the movie, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review. So don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But yeah, this is the big screen adaptation of Stephen King's novel, but not the first take on the story. The first take on that story was the miniseries, two-part miniseries that was like back in the 90s. So yeah, with like that, since that was made for TV, there were certain things they really couldn't show, certain things they couldn't do. But this movie, however, is a totally different story. Keep that in mind when you go in and watch this movie. Keep that in mind. And that's not even a bad thing. That's actually me complimenting the movie, like where it does certain things that usually horror movies are afraid to do. Like, whoa, that's a little too much. But here they actually, go the extra mile, and actually give them full credit to have the balls to do that. And to say, like, and then with the losers, I mean, like, with Bill, Beverly, Ben, Eddie, Richie, Mike, Stan, I mean, they all brought their A game to this movie. I mean, like, every single kid was likable, relatable, and realistic. I mean, the way they interacted with each other was very realistic, and I can invest into their stories, like separate stories, and when they all come together, like it's just as interesting to watch than Pennywise trying to terrorize them. And Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård killed it. I mean, he lived up to my anticipation on his performance. I mean, Tim Curry did a great job, I guess Pennywise, and even though he was kind of sugar coated. I mean, like where he was more goofy than scary, to me at least. But I can see why people found him scary, But he was still too goofy for me to find him scary. But I mean, yeah. If they wanted Tim Curry to go darker or take it, take this, performance in a darker direction, he is fully capable of doing that. But that is what Bill Skarsgård does. He takes it in a darker approach, and he is a little loopy at times, but he's still a much more sinister and terrifying Pennywise. And when they released the official picture of him as Pennywise, I said, man, that picture gave me chills. I mean, like, I knew that this was gonna be one scary ass motherfucking Pennywise. Like, honestly. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, like with I don't know, I can see why people were apprehensive with him at first. I mean, they're like, I don't know, he's just, I don't see anything, he's not gonna be a good Pennywise. But if you've seen the reviews for this movie, people are praising him. I mean, I am praising him. I praised him before I even saw the movie, and that shows something. I mean, I had faith in him. I mean, I was the same way about Heath Ledger, like where I was apprehensive about him being the Joker before I actually heard him and see him in his performance. Blew me away. I mean, it's like he paved the way for people who are unlikely to win you over to play certain characters like this until you actually see them, like in full character. So yeah, I mean, like, this is definitely like it becoming a new thing. And like I said, Bill Skarsgård, definitely. I mean, he was a much more terrifying Pennywise in my opinion. And there were some changes, I've made, like in this story, like where it's set in the 80s, like where they're basically 80s kids, like in here, and I was okay with that. And there was a couple other changes that I'm not going to get into because they're spoiler-ish, but when those changes happen, I'm like, oh, okay, I actually approve of those changes. So you may know what I'm talking about when you see the movie. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess that's how some retelling stories are, where they set them more in the modern time. So like when it comes around, like where if there's going to be a chapter 2, it'll be like in this time, like when we see them as adults. So it's pretty good idea. And they didn't just set out just to make a good horror movie. I mean, it was just in general a really good movie, and that's pretty rare in the horror genre. I mean, some classics have done that, and some movies based off of Stephen King novels are good for that. And like I'm glad that we still at least get these kind of movies every once in a while. And I mean, yeah, like, and if you cannot invest into the kids, then I think you're gonna have trouble enjoying the movie. I mean, you have to invest into the kids in order to enjoy the movie, even though there is a clown terrorizing them. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I think they are the ones who really carry the movie through. I mean, Pennywise, does too, but the kids are the ones who are carrying the weight. And since it is set in the 80s, and that was a time where people can say some name calling that is now considered controversial and very offensive. For example, like, there is that word spelled Faggot. You know what that word is. And then there's that other word that's spelled Retard. Those words are other in this movie. And when it got around the time where where the bullies are picking on the losers, like, and then they pick on just Mike, I was almost prepared for them to say the N word, but they did not say that. They would say those other two words that I spelled out, but the N word, nope, not uttered once in the movie, and I am okay with that. You're so I was so invested into their friendship. Like, when it got to a moment where they all hug, I was just like, it really hit me. It hit me in a really good way. It's just like, wow. I mean, they're family, and it's just great. And this movie basically says it's okay to be different from popular kids. Like the jock and the basketball players and cheerleaders and all that stuff. I mean, it's okay, not to be a part of those crowds. Like, I like how this movie basically shows that. Like how other movies where it centers around kids, usually do that. And like, if A Nightmare on Elm Street and The Goonies had a baby, this Stephen King story would be the love child. And you can tell, since Pennywise has been doing this every 27 years, like when this movie starts, I mean, Pennywise is not just starting out. He's been doing this for a while. And you can tell how fucked up the town is. It's kind of like how Freddy Krueger, screwed up the town of Springwood. It's pretty much like that. And it's pretty intense. And it's also crazy how it's been 27 years since the miniseries. So 27 years later, this movie is here. So these filmmakers are some slick ass motherfuckers. I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. They're like, hey, it's gonna be about 27 years, so let's have the movie come out, in that year. Very fitting and very creepy too. I like it a lot. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say you should check out the movie. It's movie of the fall. I won't say holiday movie, because that's more like Justice League, Thor Ragnarok, and Star Wars. But here in the fall, between this month and October, I'd say this is the movie of the fall, and it's more fun to watch, and it's more crafted, and it's better crafted than the miniseries. So with that all being said, this gets 4.5 chair spins out of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that was a 5th chair spin. Well, it deserves a 5th chair spin, because I can't think of a movie or I can't think of a thing I didn't like about this movie. So I'd say definitely check it out if you want to go see a good horror movie, or if you just want to just see a good movie. You get the best of both worlds. So go check it out. Drag your girlfriend to see it, or drag your boyfriend to see it. Anyone who's scared of clowns, drag them to see it, and have fun, watching them being terrified. So if you guys enjoyed my review on this movie, make sure you thumb up the video, click subscribe if you're a newbie to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.